The Regional Old Colony Communication Center, or ROCC, is located inside the Duxbury Fire Department and is the emergency communication hub for Duxbury, Halifax, Plympton, and Rochester. They answer 911 calls and dispatch crews. PCN stopped by to learn more.
When there's an emergency, a quick response time could be the difference between life and death. Duxbury Fire Chief Kevin Nord and the staff at the Regional Old Colony Communications Center understand that. Chief Nord and Duxbury Police Chief Matthew Clancy decided to look into starting a regional communications center back in 2011, as Chief Nord recalls.
We decided we were going to start here in Duxbury. The police department dispatchers came over here. We began to hire other employees. And the first town in was Plympton, and that was like 2013. So that essentially became a regional center. And it qualified us through state 911 funding to get greater funds to establish this, build it out. Halifax since has joined us, and most recently Rochester.
Unlike a small-town dispatch operation, a regional dispatch center typically has multiple dispatchers working, who can answer the phone, dispatch the emergency services, and provide accurate emergency medical information to the caller. A regional dispatch center also has the benefit of a larger budget.
The biggest thing, I think, is the improved technology. We're able to get funding for technology that ordinarily we wouldn't be able to purchase as a standalone dispatch center. It allows us to send our people to better training and training more frequently, which gives the customer a better product. It allows us to have multiple people on duty. It allows us to network if communities are together and there's a crime in one, then they may pick up on something where that person may be heading towards that other community. When if we're all individually in different silos, that doesn't happen. I'd also like to think that we do better with mutual aid and for fire and large incidents like that. And it's safer all the way around, and that's really the biggest thing that myself and Chief Clancy believed, to have an operation that was going to give our people out in the street better safety. I think there's a higher call volume here than in an individual site, and that in turn gives our employees a better edge because they're dealing with multiple calls all the time. It used to be when you dialed 911 from a cell phone, it would go to state police and then it would get filtered to the agency in which that person was in that jurisdiction. That comes now directly to here. So that's a phenomenal decrease in minutes to get help to somebody. In the last 24 hours, it was 201 calls, and it varies, but that seems to be the average.
Chief Nord says not everyone is on board with the regional dispatch center, especially with this one being located at the Duxbury Fire Department.
We'd like to eventually move to an independent district. For a community to jump into something like this, it's difficult because they lose control. They lose control of the employee, and they lose control of potentially the direction that the dispatch center would go. But if you take a look at the positives, the fact that a community doesn't have the liability of the employee anymore, the health insurance, the retirement, they're not continually trying to hire people and then someone else pick up that person for another dispatch center, and now they got to retrain somebody all over again. There's less turnover here than smaller sites.
Reporting for PCN in Duxbury, I'm Walter Trichetti.